So what we are going to do is to thank this place for receive this information again.
Hello everyone, I'm AJ Kavanagh, and together with my husband Tom Workman, we are intuitive channels for Source Consciousness at Speaking from Source. And this is part 4 of Raising the Consciousness, Egypt Honoring the Great Sphinx. Well, the celebrated day had arrived, and by the late afternoon, the last of the groups, together with Matias, had completed their time in the Great Pyramid, and the activation was successful and complete. The stage was set, figuratively and literally, for a final concert set in front of the Great Sphinx to honor this special and unique gateway of time and consciousness. For everyone, the water, the earth, the fire, and the air groups, it was a time of oneness and joy. Matias and members of the foundation and everyone there sang songs and mantras well into the evening hours. And then the event was complete. But the next morning, February 23rd, was to be a special one-off event. Getting up in the early hours of the morning and arriving at 5 a.m., we all gathered in silent honor of the Great Sphinx to sow the seeds of being. As Matias explained, 12,000 years ago, when the old age of the glorious Atlantis came to the end by the age of Leo, a group known as the Guardians took a vow in front of the Great Sphinx. And the Great Sphinx stated that when the dark ages of consciousness would end in the mirror of time, we would all return to awaken the world from its dream. That dream ends with the closure of the Age of Pisces and the current beginning of the Age of Aquarius. 12,000 years later, in the morning of February 23rd, 2022, 2,000 souls gathered in front of the Great Sphinx when the moon was setting in the west in front of the Leo constellation and the sun was rising up front of the Aquarius constellation. My arrival at the Sphinx that morning honestly caught me off guard. The energy was incredibly high and I felt my entire aura and etheric body just moving in and out of all directions and vibrating at an incredibly high rate. So much so that it was really difficult to keep my composure and even to keep steady footing. My legs sort of turned to jelly and my eyes were filled with tears. And I remember us all together as we were steadily making our way toward the front paws of the Sphinx to make our silent tribute and honor, where I was just so out of my body when I felt a hand grab mine and steady me and lead me all the way to the center of the Great Sphinx. And that was my friend Lorna, and I was so grateful for her to be there in that moment for me and to steady me and to ground me and to keep steady footing. It was just phenomenal. It was one of the most transcendent moments of my life that I've ever experienced. I mean, there was stuff happening all around us with the vibratory energy. The Sphinx moonlit in that morning had such sentience about it. And then there was crazy stuff happening in the sky, and it was just an incredible moment as we each had the opportunity to say a silent tribute in front of the amazing dream stela, a stela that was placed there by one of the great pharaohs at the paws of the Sphinx. Since childhood, I was captivated by the story, which is recorded in hieroglyphs on the stone stelae erected between the front paws of the Great Sphinx by the Egyptian pharaoh Thutmose IV in the first year of that king's reign, 1401 BC, during the 18th dynasty. It was particularly relevant to me because I had recollections of sharing an incarnation there during the 18th dynasty during my time in the city of Bubastis. It's shown the king making offerings left and right to the Sphinx, and it tells a story thus. One day it came to pass that the pharaoh's son, Thutmose, came to seek shade from a scorching midday sun and rested under the shadow of the Great Sphinx. In his sleep, when the sun hit its zenith, he awoke to channel the Sphinx speaking through him himself. And the Sphinx spoke, "Behold thou me, my son, Thutmose. I am thy father, and I will give to thee my kingdom upon earth. Thou shalt wear the white crown and the red crown, and the land shall be thine in its length and breadth, that which the eye of the All-Lord shines upon. The sands of the sanctuary upon which I am have reached me, and if you clear the sands from around me, it shall be yours. So the Sphinx's promise to him was to make him Pharaoh if he cleared the sand around from his paws, which indeed he did, and upon which, soon after, he did in fact become Pharaoh, succeeding his brothers. He was so struck by this experience that he created the large stone stele of the story and placed it between the paws of the Sphinx, which can be seen to this day and is officially known as the Dream Stele. Once we each got to spend personal time in front of the Sphinx at the Dream Stele, we gathered in silence in front of the paws, all of us together, and then this happened.
Are you getting that too?
Indeed, it was a very special time. The portals of time and space were opened, and Matias himself went on to explain the special significance of the gathering at that very moment.
So we are here in the middle, in the Sphinx, with the constellation of Leo setting in the horizon and the constellation of Aquarius rising in the horizon. Yes. This happens every February, but this time we are here to manifest it with awareness. For the ancient ones, the portal days were from sun to sun. So the portal day didn't end. So it really ends when the sun rises in the horizon. So sorry because of the time, but the task keeps going until the sun rises. So what are we doing here? We have come here to honor the ancestors, also ourselves as ancestors, that 12,000 years ago we told to each other in front of the Sphinx we would come back in order to keep knitting the net. So, as I said before, Basik, the guardian, was the keeper of information that this territory has. And these past 2 years, 2020, 2021, we have been receiving part of this information throughout the path of the I Am that spread throughout the world. So during these 2 years, it was not only about teaching you things every day, but it was about reminding you what you already knew before here. So what we have been doing is a reconnection of the planetary memory. So what we are going to do is to thank this place for receive this information again. Usually in Atlantan times, they used to keep information through singing into jars of water, and by just a little tiny hit to the jar, the resonance and the singing would awake the information. The biggest insult in the Atlantan time was empty jars. So what we are going to do here is to receive the information from this territory into our jars, which is our bodies, the water that is our blood, and we will bring all this information here.
Just prior to my traveling to Egypt, the consciousness grid allowed me to channel a special message to share with you now for all of those who are on the I Am path. I am the light of the consciousness grid. I am the essence, the expression, the pure light of all, a reflection of you, a co-creation of Source. I shine bright for you to see me now, for you to breathe into me, to connect, to know, to share in the many gatherings of hearts. I am not broken. You are not broken. I am strong and luminous, as are you. See me in this way. Experience me in this way. Know yourself in this way, for it is. Conscious with the beat of every heart, whole in the beatings of all hearts, resonating across all that is. I am the light of the consciousness grid. You are the light of consciousness. I am, you are. We coexist. We have always coexisted. And now we know each other again. As Matias explained, this was the last farewell. He said, after many years of following the teachings of the masters at every temple and the opening of the portals for our specific tasks, the time to close the doors has finally arrived. The activation of the consciousness grid has been achieved, and now it was time to thank the energies and close the portals. This was a task Matias had intended to do by himself, but then he decided to take a select few of us along to assist him with the task. And those that went were truly grateful. Up next, a very special look at Raising the Consciousness, Egypt Part 5, Closing the Temple Portals. See you then.